श्री सच्चिदानंद सद्गुरु साईनाथ महाराज की जय। सद्गुरु श्री साईनाथ निशरत बापू जी की जय। Rose Petals, Volume 3, Chapter 2, Hollow Man, Stuffed Man. Devotee: Guruji, you were talking earlier about the hollow man in T.S. Eliot's poem, and I was wondering, what is the difference between hollowness and emptiness, between the hollowness T.S. Eliot is referring to and the emptiness that is needed in us to allow Baba's treasure to come in? Guruji: Emptiness means there is nothing inside, neither positive nor negative, not even the awareness of our own limited self, this limited personality. There is only some void, which is good in fact. What T.S. Eliot was referring to is not that. He was speaking of a hollowness which is shallow. We are the hollow men, meaning shallow talk, shallow actions, where nothing inside is real, but we keep on doing and saying something or other in order to keep our limited ego alive. That is hollowness. And he defined it in the next line: we are the stuffed men. A stuffed man is like the scarecrow they put in fields to drive away the birds, an effigy. It looks angry, but it has no feelings. People are acting just like the scarecrow, Eliot says. He sees that most people are stuffed. We are stuffed with so many things: politics, some shallow news, some information. Early in the morning, we have to read the newspaper immediately or switch on the TV to get the news. And the moment we meet somebody, we start exchanging the news we have collected with the news they have collected. One person stuffs the other fellow, and that fellow stuffs him back. That is how all this stuffed man activity is going on. That is stuffed. Devotee: So when we are trying to create an environment that is conducive to keeping our focus, how can we skillfully remove the distractions, such as people we have already invited into the environment? Guruji: You don't need to do anything. The moment you stop acting as a hollow man or a stuffed man, it's finished. The other stuffed men cannot relate to you. For them, you seem so irrelevant, so shallow. They feel you are not one of them and they will slowly drop away by themselves. Devotee: It's frightening though, Guruji, to totally experience one's hollowness, and no one wants to explore it because it's depressing. How can we face the fear of going into that hollowness? Guruji: By understanding that it is even more dangerous to be hollow and not know it or not face it. Anyway, what you face is what you are. It's not a ghost. It's not something unknown. Why should we be afraid of facing our own selves? Devotee: When we see through that stuffing, is that when we experience true emptiness? Guruji: When this stuffing is gone, yes, unstuffing is done. When you sit in meditation and try to focus on something, whether it's the void, emptiness, Baba, Buddhahood, or you're doing Vipassana meditation or whatever, the moment you sit, thoughts come. Why do they come? What is their purpose? Just look at what thoughts are coming and you will see the hollowness, the stuffedness. The thoughts are all the effects of what is actually stuffed inside. Devotee: Is everything which is not about the object of one's focus all just stuffing? Guruji: Is it not? The real stuff is your object of love. So stuffing ourselves with meaningless things is having no real stuff, isn't it? Devotee: Is it a fear of losing ourselves that makes us fill up the emptiness? Guruji: That's one of the reasons, yes. But usually our fear is not so extreme that we fear losing ourselves. We stuff ourselves mostly out of habit. It's mainly our patterns, the habit energy, those things on the surface level that make us do it. If you go deeper and deeper into it and actually experience that voidness, then the fear of losing yourself will come. Usually, though, The thoughts just keep coming. It's not that you think, it's rather that thoughts go on. Devotee. Is there a way to work with that, Guruji, if one sees that process? Guruji. One of the ways is to ignore these thoughts. The moment you are aware of them, simply ignore them. Don't think, what am I thinking? Why has that thought come? They are not worthy of that much attention. Just ignore them and focus on your object. Suddenly, I'm thinking of my family. Maybe I should follow those thoughts? Simply stop this and they will go away. The next day, those thoughts won't appear again. Something else will come. Ignore them. Keep bringing your mind to your object. Ignoring the thoughts is the crucial thing. If you start analyzing, another pattern will begin. And then, in the name of analysis, you'll be only thinking, brooding, and daydreaming. Just ignore whatever thoughts are not about the object of your focus, even the good thoughts, and put the mind on your object. After some time, they get tired and won't come, and the pattern is broken. Devotee. Do you mean a pattern of a particular way of thinking? Guruji. Yes, a pattern of thinking, but usually it is very difficult to see. If you can maintain a journal, you will see that certain kinds of thoughts come up with a particular frequency. Negative thoughts, positive thoughts, thoughts about various things, maybe about our family, our work, or anything. Try to make a detailed journal, write in it every day, and you will see how the thoughts are going on. There is a pattern. The content may change a little, but the pattern will be the same. Devotee. So, pattern and habit energy are the same thing? Guruji. They're the same. I call it pattern, and in the Vedantic terminology, they call it vasana or habit energy. Devotee. Does that mean something which has been repeated over time again and again? Guruji. Yes, again and again, and they get strengthened. Devotee. How did it start? Every pattern must have a beginning. Guruji. It started when you were not aware of these things, when you were hungry, when you were crying for milk and looking for the mother. It starts the moment our minds begin functioning. 2 patterns, 3 patterns, 2 million patterns, 3 million, 1 billion. It goes on like that, multiplying. Devotee. So you are saying that the best way to overcome patterns is simply to ignore them? Guruji. Yes, ignore them. Different spiritual schools have various methods, but the main technique for overcoming patterns is repeating a name or a mantra, a sound, japa or whatever you call it. Actually, the whole practice of mantra is based on breaking our patterns. Devotee. But Baba didn't give any mantras. Guruji. There was no need. He knows another way. He doesn't need any tool. He breaks a pattern and it's gone. At a certain moment, say in a satsang, or when we are just looking at the mountains, or at the same place we've been to 100 times, suddenly something happens in us. A pattern is suddenly broken just like that. Then we find that we are not the same person. Our way of thinking has changed. What happened, we do not know, but we notice that something has changed in us. Something is simply taken away and something else has come in, and we feel that we are new, the world is new, the whole path is new, and we start looking at our same old friends in a new way. That he can do. Devotee. Guruji, what's the relationship between emptiness, which is a positive experience, and habit energy? Guruji. Once you become free of patterns, you experience the emptiness, the void, the shunya. It is the patterns which are making you hollow and stuffed. First, we have to put the real stuff into us so that this gas, this hollowness will slowly go. There are 2 approaches to experiencing it, the Buddhist approach and the Vedic. Buddha wanted to directly experience that emptiness. He saw that all this is just hollowness. It's not real, so get rid of it. But can you do it? It is the branch on which you are sitting. How can you cut the branch on which you yourself are sitting? So, the other approach is to try and put something real in your mind, some real stuff, so that you can slowly get filled and eventually you can remove that too. Actually, Shunya is Purna, fullness, and Purna is Shunya. In Sanskrit, their meaning comes to the same thing. Shunya is zero, and Purna again is zero, but zero infinitely full. So, what Buddha calls Shunya, in Hinduism they call Purna. Purna and Shunya are the same, but how people view existence is different, and the technique and the approach is also different. Usually, we stuff our minds with so many things. When we first get up, we ask, how is the weather? Oh, today it's cool. Oh, the sun is beautiful. And as soon as we pick up the phone, it's cold, it's damp, it's wet, it's dry. Yesterday it was like that, and today the forecast is like this. Or, how was that movie? How is the Uttaranchal government? Before it was Uttar Pradesh, and how is the new government doing, and who is the new chief minister, and what is this and what is that, all this stuff. In the first issue of The Spectator, the editor Addison wrote about why he was starting the paper. One of the reasons he gave was to provide those kind of hollow and stuffed men something meaningful to contemplate so that they would have something useful to stuff in their empty brains. I want to provide them with some good stuff. The moment they get up, the spectator will be there by their table, giving them something useful to ponder about society or about themselves. I like that. Devotee. Is that also one of the things that happens for us in satsang? Guruji. Maybe. So there will be some stuff for you to talk about which makes you focus on your object, something which is relevant, which is meaningful to you and to achieving your object. Whether or not you are talking about it, I do not know, but I try. Otherwise, those kind of meaningless thoughts will go on. Why do you read newspapers? Is it not simply stuffing yourself? Just think. If it was connected to something practical, or you were somebody who really needed the information, like a business person for example, there would be some meaning in it. But there isn't. Avoid stuffing yourself with things which are not relevant to you, which are not connected to your life, to achieving your goal or your object, whether practical or spiritual. Avoid that mere stuffing and unnecessary talk. It is an addiction. We do so many things that are not relevant to us. Make it a principle not to talk about anything which is not useful to you or the other person. Whenever you talk about something, it should be useful either to you or to someone else. That which is not useful to either of you is stuffing. Just check all the talking you do. See how much you are stuffing yourself and others. Most of our talk is just stuffing. Examine it and you'll know. Then you'll start talking meaningfully. Your company will be meaningful and you will be in meaningful company. And then your whole life will become really meaningful. Shri Sachidananda Sadguru Sainath Maharaj ki jai. Sadguru Shri Sainath Nisharat Babuji ki jai.